Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with Mandy Fox with Certified Crop Advisors. She explains what a Certified Crop Advisor is and what it means to the consumer. Next up, Greg Akagi brings us the Kansas Soybean update. Then Duane Toews meets with Kevin Norton at NRCS. He talks about conservation programs that are important to Kansas, as well as legislative changes to programs in the future. Next, we'll learn what's going on around the state with the Kansas Farm Bureau update. And to wrap up, it's Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. It's all coming up on Farm Factor. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
What if we dreamed bigger? What if we looked beyond ourselves to the world outside? With the world population over 7 billion, who will lead us into a sustainable future? Kansas State University's Agronomy Department is working to build that brighter future for us all. As a career in high demand, we're working to understand, manage, and protect Earth's vital resources. We help farmers manage and grow their harvest by studying the science behind plants, soils, and the environment, providing a higher standard of living for all, while being good stewards of our natural resources. We work to make the future greener. We work to make the future brighter. Explore a rewarding career and join us in helping feed the world. Discover the possibilities with Kansas State University Agronomy.
No one plans to get sick or injured, but when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Kyle Bauer talks to Mandy Fox, a Certified Crop Advisor.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I get an opportunity to visit with Mandy Fox. She is an officer with Certified Crop Advisors, but that's not your job.
No, I'm actually an environmental consultant, and I currently work for a group of dairies in southwest Kansas. They fall under the umbrella of Ag Oasis. It includes Toll's Dairy, Moscow Dairy, and Lost Trail Dairy, which is in the Panhandle of Oklahoma.
When I hire a crop advisor, will I see any sign on their cards or their credentials that they're a certified crop advisor?
Sure, they're allowed to put it on their card. Most of them will put it behind their name on their business cards, like as a CCA or a CPAG for a certified professional agronomist. We also have certified soil scientists to signify that they have gone through the proper training and testing and certifications and are following continuing ed and ethics protocols.
As a consumer, do I care about that?
As a producer, I would look to hire those because they are holding themselves to a higher industry standard for the producer, and they're continuing to stay active and engaged in the industry as it evolves.
Certified crop advisors, how long have they been around?
We're celebrating our 25th year this year.
Is it a regional thing or national or international?
It is international. In North America, we partner with Canada, so they attend our North American meetings. We're also starting some branches in Brazil and Mexico and South America.
Once you get those initials behind your name, is there any other responsibility after that?
Yes, every 2 years you have to complete 40 hours of continuing ed, and it's delegated into each of the different sectors of agronomy. For instance, crop consulting, soil and water management, integrated pest management. And so we can't just focus on one area, we have to focus on the broad spectrum. And there's also professional development, and then we sign a code of ethics every 2 years to make sure that we're upholding those standards as well.
Is that part of the association's job, is to find that continuing education?
The association does a great job of providing different opportunities. They'll do events that you can go to with different ag groups. You can do webinars online. You can do some quizzes from magazines that they have like research studies on. And so the opportunities for continuing ed are endless.
As a certified crop consultant, does it mean more money to me? Can I charge more for my services if I'm a certified crop advisor?
You certainly can. I know there are certain jobs that I have been hired for solely because of those reasons. I work in the regulatory arena, and so there are certain branches of, for instance, Kansas Department of Health and Environment that requires a certified crop advisor to write that plan, and so I'm in a tier that not everybody can be qualified for.
We are at National Association of Farm Broadcasting's Trade Talk, visiting with Mandy Fox, and she is with the Certified Crop Advisors. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Be sure and come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
This segment brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Now we turn to Greg Akagi with this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kurt Marth from Oakley is a Kansas Soybean Commissioner and represents Kansas on the United Soybean Board. And Kurt, during the week of June 22nd through the 26th, the Take Action Initiative is highlighting Pest Week, which looks at pest resistance management.
Yes, it sure does. We're excited, from the USB side of things, that we wanted to designate a week and just to really put a reminder out there to our farmers and our custom applicators that it's really important that we're scouting and looking for those weeds, because what we do now will affect what happens on our farm for quite a while. It's important that we invest in our best management practices that we can to prevent these problems, because it's really only up to us. There's no one else is going to come on our farm and take care of our weed problems or any of our pest problems that we have.
And the Take Action Network really looks at all the information compiled about weed, insect, and disease experts, and really it's unbiased information too. Yes, it is. It was an industry-wide partnership that the Soybean Checkoff went along with some commodity groups, an academic institution, and some agrochemical companies to put together a program that farmers could receive free. I mean, it's a free app and a website that you can go on to. It's iwilltakeaction.com, and the app is Take Action app. If you go on your app store, you can find it there for free. And it's just a really handy tool to help you identify the weeds or identify the insects or a fungus disease, and it'll help you identify it and then help lead you to some solutions or some help to get there. It's really a cool chemical program. Like, for example, you can find out the different modes each chemical acts. So yesterday, I typed in Halix GT. It's a pretty well-used, common chemical name, and it listed out all the components of that chemical and what group each of those chemicals in. So now that I'm ready for my next spray program, I can look and see if I can find a different chemical with a different mode of action that will work better on those weeds and not be using the same chemical every time. And, that's the best way to build up resistance, is using the same thing over and over again. And once again, the website, iwilltakeaction.com. Kurt, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you, Greg, and you have a great day.
That is Kurt Marth from Oakley. He is a Kansas Soybean Commissioner and represents Kansas on the United Soybean Board, and he joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Coming up, Duane Toews talks with Kevin Norton about NRCS conservation programs in the state.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply. This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back as Duane Toews talks with Kevin Norton from NRCS.
Duane Toews joining him once again on the program. Opportunity to catch up again with Kevin Norton with NRCS out of Washington, D.C. Kevin, when we think about conservation programs, they've been around a long time, going way back into the early history of agriculture. But NRCS continues to evolve with the times and the needs of both the environment and producers. Tell us a little bit about some of the exciting things that have been going on as of late.
So very good. Well, I mean, conservation is the heart of your country, Kansas, Oklahoma, right there, really at the beginning of conservation with the Dust Bowl and the things that have gone on. So, you're right. We've changed a lot over the times as agriculture has. So we deliver, quite a very different suite of conservation programs, the Bricks and Mortar Environmental Quality Incentive Program, the Conservation Stewardship Program that's at next level of conservation that works on the operating unit level with producers. Then we have some easement programs, emergency programs, those kinds of things that we work. Also, I think in your area, big users of the Environmental Quality Incentive Program and Conservation Stewardship Program. We implemented those programs this past year using the 2014 Farm Bill authorities, and that worked really well to keep that money going. We didn't end up with setting on $4 billion. We were a little late getting it out because of the timing of the Farm Bill to shut down, but once we got going, the producers and our field employees and our partners with the soil and water conservation districts, they went to work, got those dollars in producers' hands, and they're now able to move forward doing their conservation work. This Conservation Stewardship Program has been kind of redesigned with the Farm Bill language. The regulations just were published on Tuesday. So folks can look at those, they can give comments, the producers that use them, the partners that help deliver them, those interest groups that have a constituency base around them ought to look at those regs. We expect EQIP, the Agriculture Conservation Easement Program, and the Regional Conservation Partnership Program to be done by the end of the year and to be in full implementation in January right after the rollover of the calendar year. So things are rolling along. The authority we had to move forward expired September the 30th. We had to get the new regs done, and those are in clearance, and we expect them to be out and for the states to deliver the programs. We have a really good model. It's around locally led conservation. We put our leadership out in the state level to work with the partners there, the state conservationists. We asked them to work at the local level with soil and water conservation districts so that they're designing their conservation program that touches that producer where they live. And, from one end of Kansas to another, quite different. And from the southern part of your broadcast area in Oklahoma to the northern part, quite a bit of difference in those needs. So our programs are built so they can be refined and priorities set around what's needed locally to move the needle on conservation.
Kevin, we think about why that happened. Some folks that had some pretty good insight in making sure that those conservation efforts were locally driven and allowed to make the best impact and use of those dollars.
Oh, yes. Quite honestly, this country is exceptionally diverse. Conservation is important to every agriculture producer. They participate at different levels because they have different needs. Just like you and I are quite different, every farm's different. The boundaries of that farm, the resources inside of it, and then you have that layer of the agriculture operator on top of that, whether it's a rancher or a farmer or a forest landowner. And so, to be effective, you have to be able to design your conservation programs locally. The key focal point for us is the local soil and water conservation district. They're a local unit of government under a state conservation authority, whether that's a state conservation agency or State Department of Ag or whatever. And so it's a federal, state, and local partnership that just ensures that the conservation investment of the federal government is helping those folks on the ground. The partners that we have in conservation, the number one partner is that producer.
All right, thanks to Kevin Norton with NRCS at USDA. Joining us on the program, I'm Duane Toews. Have a great day. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Okay, we want to take this opportunity to announce the endorsement of Dr. Roger Marshall for our U.S. Senate seat. But before we do that, I want to take just a moment, though, and talk about our Farm Bureau processes, how we arrive at this endorsement. And we have a great process in Kansas Farm Bureau that we rely on our grassroots, just like we do our regular policy. In this case, we have given all of our counties the opportunity to make recommendations to our state group. And then that state group, our state PAC group, our voters organized to elect Farm Bureau friends, then takes under advisements those recommendations from the counties and then arrives at a recommendation into an endorsement. Our process was completed this morning or today, and we are proud to make that endorsement for Dr. Roger Marshall. And it was easy for us to come to that decision due to his prior history and what he's been able to do for us as he's represented us for 2 terms here in Washington, D.C.
Rich, thank you so much. I just couldn't be more honored by your endorsement. I know that with your endorsement comes your reputation. And to all the Kansas Farm Bureau members who did this, who made this possible, on behalf of all my family, thanks. Growing up in agriculture, your reputation means everything to you. And all I can say is I'm not going to let you down. We're not going to be outworked. I'm going to make sure that Kansas has a voice also on the Senate Agriculture Committee as well. I'm just so honored to be here. And by the way, I'm practicing social isolation right now. I'm in Kismet, Kansas, and I wanted to make sure they had a good internet connection. So I stopped here to do this announcement, kind of running from Liberal to Dodge, trying to work on some of the COVID crisis. And I just want to just lift you all up today and just spread a message of hope that we can get through this together. I've got confidence in us. I know it's been tough times, but those pioneers before us, my farms, my family, both of them 100 years old or more, we can get through this as well. So God bless all of you. Rich, I'm honored to serve with you, and I can't wait to keep working with you on the Senate side. Thank you so much, and just God bless everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall, for that. And again, it was easy for our group to come to that decision. And as you and I have worked together and our Farm Bureaus worked together in our prior endorsements for you when you were in your present seat in the House. But in addition to that, you've done a tremendous job of reaching out to your constituents, our fellow people in agriculture and rural communities. So we'll look forward to our continued relationship and working to get you elevated to the U.S. Senate seat.
Thank you, Rich. We're going to do this together. God bless you all.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk, with the guy who always says, even if you're on the right track, you're going to get run over if you just sit there. Duane Toews.
There's been many a day I've been on the right track, but I was going the wrong direction.
You're going the wrong direction. Now there.
It can be the right track, but you got to make sure you're going in the right direction.
Don't be going left when the whole world's going right.
Oh, every now and then you see somebody with their blinker on for miles and miles and miles. And
don't you just want to run into them and tell them, hey,
I wish there was a better system for holding up little signs in your car. So like when you went by, you could...
And have it on the side, you could
flash.
type it in.
Yeah, they could read that when you went by.
Right.
Maybe it would, I don't know. There's some people that have anger management issues. It might escalate.
Something inappropriate.
Yeah. Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. According to the United Nations, fairly
UN.
Fairly
I can spell
reputable
United
group.
Nations, UN.
There are over 3 million shipwrecks on the bottom of the ocean floor.
According to UN.
Or fiction.
How many million?
3 million.
Let me see. I remember that one. And that one.
There was the.
You would be amazed
Nina,
in war
Santa
how
Maria.
many go down in war. 3 million is a lot, but we've got a lot of years to add up here. You know what? I'll go with fact.
That's what it says.
There's a lot of waste out there. It was amazing in World War II how many things went to the bottom of the ocean, and you just made more.
And some of those are kind of deep. It's a long way down to try and retrieve.
It's okay if they're out in the deep water. It's the ones that are in not so deep water. I just read of one recently.
Run over something.
Big ship blew up, not so deep water, and it was loaded with lots of munitions.
Oh.
And it didn't completely blow up, so those munitions are still
there.
And they're kind of wondering what they ought to do about it.
What do you do about it?
Because there's like, well, you know, 1 million people live within 10 miles of it. I wish I could remember where it was, but
I did not hear that story.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about driving my boat by and gouging a big hole in it.
Well, I don't think it's that shallow.
Okay.
I don't think, and let's
Well, it
face
could
it.
be.
Well, I think they would have done something with it if it was
Weren't you telling me like the bay at San Francisco or somewhere down there, San Diego? There's only like
San Diego,
not much draft between the bottom of the ship.
When they went to the new generation aircraft carrier, it was something like 56 feet deep, and they needed 58 feet of draft to bring in the big aircraft carrier.
Right.
And so they dredged it out to 59.
Oh, let's give them an extra 12
Let's give them an extra 12 inches.
Yeah.
Can you imagine when those propellers go by, how much it riles up that water?
I suspect the dirt would roll out.
Right.
back.
Maybe after you get it by once, it dredges itself out, and then it's 80 feet deep after that. So I don't know, but... Yeah, no, I was just amazed at how they barely got it so it would pass.
Think of how many pounds of steel are in a ship, like an aircraft carrier.
Right.
A lot of weight.
And then they made it float.
And it floats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't know who the engineer was on that little gig, but...
Oh, they started out with a little one in a bathtub.
Oh.
And then they just got bigger
Just
and bigger.
kept made to scale.
Ships really are an amazing thing, though, when you watch them in shipyards. In fact, somebody I just talked to in the last 6 months, they have, it was somebody in Seattle at a naval yard, and they have a dry dock in Seattle big enough to put an aircraft carrier in it.
Whew.
Now, the way a dry dock works is you put the ship in there and you pump out all the water.
Yeah.
And then the ship just goes down, rests on the bottom, and then you just go to work.
Do what needs done.
For like 2 years.
Get your grinder out and buff off the barnacles.
Cut and torch and cut yourself a hole. And so, that's an amazingly large dry dock. They always said that was the big deal about World War II and Pearl Harbor. Had they bombed the dry docks, it would have taken an extra 6 months to get the Navy back to where it was, but they left the dry docks intact. And so they were able to, within a few months, put most of those ships back into service.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agamandkansas.com.